Hello. Yes.
I would say something first this time. Hello, everybody. Hello, the world. I'm just going to do this for right now so everybody can see. Hey, welcome to Connecting Humans Live. We're on it again. It's the 5th new edition of the fall edition, which is the 15th new edition of the 2020 edition. Okay, messing it up right there. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And the new concept is that we're taking you straight to the kitchen of Mr. Gamberoni. He's up there in the middle.
Here I am. Hello, everyone. Hello, the world. I'm cooking tonight pasta with tomato blue cheese sauce. Only me is going to taste it, but I will share the feeling I've got with it tonight. So
wonderful. Awesome. So that's the kitchen of our Gamberoni. He's somewhere in the middle of the Swiss Alps. Next to him, we have Mr. Pascal, and he's not in the Alps, though.
Yes, I have a nice red wine today. So I'm really happy to be back, and I'm curious about the challenges and about the people that we're going to put a little out of the comfort zone.
Okay, so let's drive straight to the people that we will be challenging a little today. Without further ado, all the way from the west side of the big country continent, the US of A, we do have Katie Wallace.
Hello. Ladies represent. I'm kind of scared, y'all.
Don't be.
I really picked you because I know that you're not going to hold it back.
Nope.
Wonderful. So that's Katie, all the way from the US. And then we have somewhere, I don't really know where, but Mr. Tops, where are you?
Hi, all the way from Hasselt in the beautiful Belgium. Very curious about the challenges of this evening. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Dimitri. Okay, we dove right up to the Belgian area. Okay, for last but not least, just below me, Mr. Doslea, where are you?
So I'm currently I'm in Germany, near Cologne, underneath Bonn right now, in a little tiny place called 𝗙𝗂𝘂. And I'm drinking a beer.
Beautiful. And for those of you who have been part of us already, you know that Andreas has been with us before. He's often the one who's dealing with all the comments as well. And the new edition is we're really focusing on moving from the buzz to the action. There's a lot of talk going on right now, and we would simply like to close the knowing-doing gap. And to do that, let's close the talking-doing gap. And for each edition right now, we have chosen 3 buzzwords that we see a lot around us or here. And we would just like to kind of get down raw and dirty on them. What's going on behind them? How can we move from them? How can we inspire you to do so? And what thoughts does everyone else out there have on these buzzwords? That's literally what it's all about. But Alexandre, Pascal, do you have any additional thoughts on that?
Mr. Gamberoni.
Well, challenge is always good when it is accepted. So I'm asking, challenge accepted? Is it? Dimitri, do you accept the challenge?
Oh, is that to us? Oh, yes, I definitely accept. Still scared, but I accept.
Yeah, we're in.
And you out there, are you accepting the challenge as well? I mean, it's nice if you place some comment to challenge those 3 beautiful people that are here tonight with us. Thank you. Pascal?
No further. Let's go into it. Let's go to action. Erik, let's go to action.
Okay. I came from a webinar today, and there was a person that talked about this thing. Yes, I would really like to reach next level. I gotta step it up right now. And the webinar hostess, she said, yeah, but it's not easy. Now, I would like to first ask the lovely guests down here, step it up to the next level, reaching the next level. We gotta step it up. Is that something you've heard, said, or been kind of thinking a lot lately?
Katie. What do you think?
I hear that all the time. It honestly, that the next level drives me crazy. And like, I get that it's well-intentioned, but I have so many thoughts on just the concept of next level. So if you want me to dive into it, I can, but I can also let you finish your spill if you want.
No. So we just expected, like, you have heard it a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, beautiful. Just checking in first, Dimitri, have you seen it or heard it?
Yeah, heard it a lot.
Andreas?
Yeah, I've heard it quite a lot as well in talks of personal development, growth, and organizational behavior type topics in my university.
Oh, okay. And everybody out there too, let us know if you heard it. But Katie, you had a brilliant start right there. So what do you think about it? What do you feel about it?
Well, when I hear it, I feel annoyed because, you know, I mean, I love the concept of this, right? Like buzzword to action, because when you say these things, they seem like they're kind of meaningless, right? So what does it actually mean to take it to the next level? And I think that that's the piece that's missing a lot. Do you just want how I feel about it, or do you want me to keep going on my little rant? Continue on. Okay, so when people say this, essentially they're just saying, we're in this place now, we're going to a different place. But there, a lot of the time, isn't a lot of follow-up about that, right? It's just like, okay, well, we need to go somewhere different, but we don't know how we're going to get there. So I think the first thing that you need to do, right, is just like define what the next level looks like, because you can't know that you're at the next level unless you know what it feels like, what it looks like to actually be there. And then you also need to recognize what needs to change, like what behaviors need to change. Is it monetary? Do you need to get investment? Is it personal? Is it business? There's just a lot of facts that go into that. And then once you know those things, then you can map it out and get your incrementals to how you're actually going to get there.
Okay. And it's not, and you're kind of saying then, there's not that many people at all even bringing those aspects up.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a cute thing to say. You know what I mean? It's like trying to
Okay.
get everybody fired up, and we're going to take it to the next level, but nobody knows how the hell they're going to get there, you know, or even where they're going, but they know they're going to the next level.
100%. Beautiful. The rest of you, what do you feel about it, Dimitri?
Well, very nice put, Katie. I think it's a nice signal. People saying they want to go to the next level are actually saying, I'm not happy where I am right now, and I want change. I want it differently. So I think it's a signal for them. The next level means it's another need they haven't fulfilled yet. So I think it's very important that the next question is, when we hear them say it, what is for you the next level? Define what it means for you. How does it look like? Where are you at? What are you not happy about? Or what do you want to see differently? Make it concrete. And on the other hand, I think actually acting every day, doing the things you want to do in your life will bring progress into your life and will give, especially in these times where there is a lot of things that don't feel under control, will give you a feeling of control that you're continuously evolving. So I think it's something that is used often in personal development, talent development, etc., but actually is giving a wrong idea of what actually development and evolving is about, because it's not from level to level. That's a video game. That's not life. Or the continuous progress and growth and learning every day, which brings somebody to the feeling they're looking for, I think.
Okay. Andreas?
Well, in regards to taking the next level, I see it as like it's like the question we're getting asked now. Especially like I'm a student, so the question is like, what are you going to do after university? What is your next level? Like, you're not going to be here forever. Like, this is what we're thinking of now, is taking that step of moving to the next level, the next stage of our lives. So I mean, that's basically where I see us taking the next level. It's like, yeah, university's done. Now you got your next point. But then I also think of like, yeah, but it's just like the next point in my life, and then there's promotion. There's always a next level that I see, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna throw this one to Pascal first.
Yeah.
Why does it work then? Why does it work that buzzword? Why is it so buzzy? Of all the words and all the phrases out there, why is that one, is maybe especially right now, working so well in terms of talking about it?
Well, I think because it's simple. That's the thing. When people look for answers, they look for the simple things first because they don't use so much energy up. And I would always ask, when people say that, the question is, from what motivation, from what place do they say this? So that's very interesting. So if they are not happy with themselves, well, then we have to have a talk, because you should not be unhappy with yourself. But then when they are not happy with their place in the world, where they are right now, and they want to have a level up so that they see themselves that's then a different talk. But it's easy to say, and that's the point. It's easy to say. Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, there is it's a next level, and we have to take it up a notch, and all these kind of things. And then you say that because you are completely aware of that you didn't do 300% up till today. So then it's easy to say. But the question for me then always, of course, is also, as Katie said it well said, Katie. So what is the action then now? What are you doing then now? Stop talking, start doing. So what is it? And I just had this week. I learned something from a guy who's in neuroplasticity, in also where I was a host for a webinar, and he said something which is also so easy said, but I never thought it up with his background, with muscles and so on in the brain. He said, use it or lose it. That's also something, that's so easy to say. Yeah. And we know you have to get to work out. I have to get to the next level. And then people go to the first barrier, and then they go back into the house again and say, yeah, but it's also nice at home,
Yeah.
That's a little bit the feeling that I get sometimes.
Wonderful. Okay. That question, I think, Dimitri, you raised this one, and let's see if, so we all kind of like, okay, enough. We have touched on some questions, but here's then a thought from my side. Say, okay, I want to take it to the next level. Could you help me in getting a better understanding for, what is the first step you would like me to take? Like, very raw right now, just say it as it is, starting with Katie, going to Dimitri, going to Andreas. What is the next step you would like me to actually take, even if it's a question, to actually begin that journey of reaching the next level?
Well, I would say, and I think Dimitri said this too, which it's just defining what the next level is. Okay, well, you don't want to be in this place. Define where you're going, define what that looks like. So that way you'll know when you get there.
Can you give an actual example from what you're doing or something that you have experienced?
Let's see. Yeah, so let's see from a personal experience, right? Because I've kind of shifted from doing some of the work that I was doing into more of the work that you guys are doing right now, right? Which is like helping people expand their awareness around particular things. And so for me, I had to look at what I want that to look like, because I did have a consulting company that I was working with all these different people, and I knew like really well what that looked like. So now, then I had to define what this next phase of my life looks like. And that's coaching, that's podcasting, that's, doing all these things. Like those are and I can go more into it, but it would be exhausting for your ears. So I won't do that.
Okay. Let me pinpoint it one a little bit. What was the step? Like, could you actually identify that when you really felt that now I am grabbing that next level? Like, I'm stepping it up to that next level. What was that for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't necessarily know what the specific moment was. But I think it was like once I had everything on paper and I could look at it and I could see like, oh, okay, this is what it's going to look and feel like when I get to this place. Like I had a map to it. It was like once I had it, I had to just go for it, because now I know what it looks and feels like. I can't not continue to exist in this reality. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Definitely. Definitely. Well, something I'd like to add to that. I mean, the basic principle of coaching, for the one who've done coaching, you know that. You are where you are today. You know where you are, what brought you where you are. And from here, you can step up. Right? It is important for not to plan too much. And there are a lot of people that are saying that planning is something that we never achieve. If you have a direction, yes, but the planning, you will get lost because there is a lot of unknown thing that's going to happen during your path toward where you want to go. That's going to see your plan and say, okay, I have to make another one. So you're wasting more time. So my question to you as well is, how much do you need to plan to take that first step? Is it important to plan a lot to do the first step, knowing that your plan will not be followed step by step until you reach your objective? Or you have, okay, I plan the direction is more or less there, and off I go.
I love that. And I love that you pointed out, because for me, when I'm thinking about the future, I'm thinking about how I want to feel and how I want to show up in the world. The details and the way in which I get there are going to unravel, like you said. And so as long as you have at least one tangible action that you can go out in the real world and do, and you can go out and execute on that, you don't really need to have like 15 other subsequent things, because once you do that one thing, you will find that there's like opportunity like that starts to go out around that, starts to like ripple out around that. So I think as long as you have one tangible thing that you can go out and do, then great, you're on your way.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with that one a little bit more. Okay, mental note, opportunity. And coming back to that one, mental note, ching, opportunity. Dimitri, in your own experience of what you're doing right now, so not what you're teaching or coaching or preaching or presenting, but for yourself, what has been something that actually have been in the way? You have really identified it as, oh man, this was in the way for me to step it up to that next level. It was easy to talk about, but this was actually in the way. And I'm not referring to, oh, my limiting beliefs, my fears. We all got that. Can you be more specific?
Yes.
So
He's on,
are you on mute?
You're saying a lot of amazing things now.
Dimitri, you're muted, my friend.
I'm very sorry, I was muted. So very specific for myself, and when we are talking about the next level, more on how you're feeling personally and a happiness level, on how you are enjoying life in general, then I've learned the last couple of months that I myself was most in the way of taking this next step. That it was a lot before I was looking at creating this more concrete image of how my life should look like, creating a more concrete vision of what I would like to have in my life, emotionally, socially, economically, financially, etc., etc. But what I've learned the most, and that would be for me the very concrete step, and that's what was holding me back, was my own, my own ego, my own self, looking at the wrong things. It's, if you want more love in your life, start loving more. If you want to have more financial freedom, start feeling more free. If you want more and better social contact, start behaving better towards people. And that would be, when we come back to the last question, being more concrete. Be aware of how many possibilities there are to take these next steps very quickly, and how often it's we ourselves holding us back just in not doing them. And that's what I then combine. Of course, it's good to have a vision, and Katie said it very well, so I'm not going to repeat it. But when it then comes to planning out, etc., it's different. When you want to have a specific business in place by next year, please make a plan. Don't go into it without a plan. That's not really the smart thing to do. But if it's about a next level goal on relationships, go for it and find out as you go. But what you give attention grows. It's very simple. And I think that's the very important thing. What is holding people back is themselves. And I know you said it's not about limiting beliefs or whatsoever, but that would be the thing I learned last year. I was holding myself back.
Okay. Interesting.
Shall I let that go, or shall I?
Well, I can add something before maybe Andreas can share his view. What Dimi was saying and Katie was saying rightfully. When people then ask, okay, what's in the way? They said that, well, get out of the way. You are in the if you set the right intention and you do it, then get out of the way. What our ego, and then just to add to what Dimitri said, what our ego is trying to do is to control situations. And that's an illusion. That's an illusion. We have this illusion of control, and we don't have it. So we try to control the stuff and the curse of the events, and then we get frustrated because it's not how we imagined or whatever it is, and all this stuff piles up to something where then you self-sabotage the things, and when you get then, and that's so you have to get. That's the blockage, the illusion, this illusion of control, which we don't have. We can just do, I think, work hard, be optimistic, and create small steps, habits. That's the how. That's what I learned from Brendon Burchard. How is habits, optimism, and work. That's how you do it. Actually, don't go too much into it. Just do these.
Add something to that. I read a book long ago, and it has been my changing life books, called The Peaceful Warrior from Dan Millman. And there is a quote inside here that Socrates says to the young Dan Millman. He says, if you want to go to the next level, first you have to take out the garbage. Right? The garbage you got in your mind, you have to take them out, and then you will be able to go to the next level. As long as you keep those garbage in, you cannot put anything else inside.
Exactly. Beautiful transition, because now we're diving down to Germany here. And the question here to Andreas is, because we've been talking about, okay, what was that step for you, for Katie, and then what was in the way with Dimitri, and then Andreas, because I have a equally practical metaphor, this thing of to move forward, we gotta empty the glass. You have to remove something that's currently in. Andreas, what have you removed in your current life, as a thinking, as a belief, as an action, so whatever, behaviors, so that you could actually move forward?
I mean, a perfect example of that is actually right now, one of my next levels is to perfect the German language, because I do plan to live here forever. And one of the issues is I am not the finest at the language. And if you've ever met me in real life, or you've spoken to me, I can talk for hours and hours on end without anybody stopping me, because I love to talk. But when it comes to speaking German, I get so afraid of it. I actually worked out it was easier if I just stopped talking and focused on listening. And that was because I thought I could, when I first started learning German, I just tried to say as much as I could. And the German grammar, I just sounded like a 4-year-old on that had mental problems. It was terrible. But once I worked out that it was easier, and I listened to all of my friends, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop talking, because this is a defining feature. I'm going to empty this part of the glass to work out how to understand this language better. So that's like my example of big quality of me. I got rid of it, and now it's working better, and now I'm understanding the language a lot better.
Awesome.
That will bring you to the next level.
I'm hungry. I must say, I am hungry. Okay. Mental note, opportunities. Katie, one fixed point to take action. I do some people that they're like, there are so many opportunities right now. There's so many opportunities. I have so many opportunities right now in my life. There's so many opportunities. Are there so many? Can you elaborate for this one? How do you define an opportunity in your life if everything is an opportunity?
Ooh, I love your questions, Erik Eklund. They are great. I think that opportunity looks different to everyone. And you will be wasting your time and spinning your wheels if you don't take the time to get to know yourself, if you don't take the time to get to know what energizes you, if you don't take the time to know what you just want to spend your time doing, what kind of life you're trying to create. Because, and I know this because I've run around in circles, right? Taking opportunities that were not aligned with me and getting off track and getting pissed off. So I just think it all comes down to knowing yourself and knowing the type of person that you are, the type of person that you want to be, and the type of life that you're trying to lead.
Could you give us a very practical, actionable 𝗙𝗃 tip on what people can do there?
Let's see. Let me try to think of some easy ones because I'm very obnoxious and I like to dive into these things. Let's see. A practical. I personally like this exercise. If you're familiar with Mindvalley and Vishen Lakhiani, I think that's how you say his last name. But he has his 3 most important questions, which are essentially around what I just stated, right? Like what kind of experiences do you want to have? What kind of person do you want to be, and how do you want to contribute to the world? And I think if you go through and you answer those 3 questions, that will give you a really good idea of when an opportunity comes along that's aligned with you, you know about yourself, you know how you're trying to contribute to the world, and you know the things that you want to do in this life. So I think that would be a good, simple starting place.
He taught me something quite interesting about that. The gentleman just there.
Pascal. Pascal.
Yeah, wait, I have to look like this. Yes, I'm.
Right here.
Do you want to talk about it, or shall I?
Yeah, just come on, tell it.
Yes, and I'm sure that man down there knows that as well, because those two are connected, right? Is Ikigai. When you find your Ikigai, you need to basically know what you love to do, know what you're extremely good at, what you could be paid for, and what the world needs. And then all the intersection will give you your mission, your profession, your vocation, and your mission in life. And the center of that will be your purpose in life. And as long as you don't have found that purpose, that's going to be a tough one to grab the good opportunity, the one that's going to bring you to the next level. Did I miss something?
Yes.
That's good. That's good. I'm thinking now. I'm gonna turn the table around a little bit to 𝗙𝗃, Dimitri, and Andreas. It's your turn to challenge us for a bit.
Oh, cool.
So
I agree.
Now we're moving to the second buzzword. Okay. What was the second buzzword again?
Making an impact. The second buzzword is making an impact.
Making an impact. Oh, yes. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm hearing this. Join this organization. We're a team. We're purposeful driven entrepreneurs. We're a company, and we want to make an impact in the world. We're going to make an impact. Whew, I'm like, man. All right. Turning the table to you guys. Impact, buzzword. Challenge Pascal, Alexandre, and me on that one.
How would you define, to any of you, how would you define an impact? Is it something that, as you said, okay, Alexandre? No?
Okay.
You're in the hot seat. You're in the hot seat, buddy.
I understand. I know. And they all jealous of the fan over there.
How would you define an impact? So not like, as Erik said, join this entrepreneur thing, make a giant impact, but would you also define a small impact as well, and how so?
If you take literally what an impact means, it means that there is a movement, there is an action, and there is a something happening here, and the impact is right there. So the impact could be changing a mindset in the world, can be changing an emotional part of the world, an awareness in the world. I mean, to put your mark basically in the world. But to do that, I think you have to first see the kind of bullet that you are, if you want to make that impact. And you will be able then to give that impact to whatever you want. But the word impact as well seems to be something very huge, very big. And I would say no. An impact, even a simple one, a very sensitive one, can change the life of a lot of different people. To give you a simple example, there is a guy that was in one of the seminars I attended. Say he's an alcoholic, and he was seated on a chair, and he was craving for that beer, and he saw a bottle of beer just in front of him on the next table, and I think I said that story in the last time, but that bottle of beer was driving him crazy, and the person just at the next table, without knowing, covered that bottle with his computer. And that was it. And that was a big impact for that man's life. And that was something insignificant for the person that has done actually the movement of the computer in front of that bottle of beer. So an impact is something that's going to change the life of 1 person, 5 person, 10 person, 100,000 people. Right? It does not matter. An impact stays an impact, doesn't matter what it is. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Yes.
All right, over to Katie, Dimitri.
Yeah. What according to you guys makes it so that more and more people are talking about wanting to make an impact? Because it is a buzzword. You hear it all the time. What drives people to come out more with this urge to make an impact? What is the reason, the cause, according to you guys?
Should I? Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Just to round up what an impact is, at least to me, it's an event, and how to make an impact. And a lot of people say it because they have this emotional need, because there's a lot of uncertainty, and they know all the events that came before us, they led to this point now where we know we have to actually do something. So major changes, not small stuff. Of course, the major changes will be some of all the small things that we do, but there is the need there, because we are all connected right now. This is a historical thing with the internet, with all the news, with all the stuff. We see a lot of things. Yeah, we see a lot of things. We see that things are happening. We can compare. We can research. So people are connected, and then they see, okay, it's not only here, it's also over there, it's also over there, and we need to do something. So this is what's happening right now. And for me, having an impact, and that's then the part where we still have to work on. For me, an impact is doing something and contributing something for the community. Let's say it like this: that can be a team, that can be family, however big it is, organization, society, whatever, for a community, without expecting something in return.
Can I?
Because a lot of companies or wherever, they say we make an impact, but they want something in return. And then it's not really an impact. Then it's not the ripple effect. Then it's not doing it for the cause. Then it's doing it for business, which is also okay. But that's a reason why they go on with this wave, because they know that it is needed, but they don't know how to do it. And again, that part, there is still something where we have to work on.
There is another important dimension of that. I totally agree with what Pascal said. What is important to understand as well, if you want to make an impact, you have to strongly believe that you can. If you have a doubt about yourself, that doubt's going to eat you alive, and you won't be able to make that impact. You need to have that belief and that faith that, yes, I can make an impact. And I'm pretty sure that the things will keep moving. No.
Erik, how about you?
Yeah, this one needs to speak now.
What's the question?
Let's make it more challenging. Let's make it more challenging and go a little bit deeper into that, because we talk about, and thank you so much for the input, talking about why it is that people come up with making an impact. Erik, what do you see happening in the outside world that makes those people say that? Perhaps could it be also that the world around us, not only the last couple of months, but in general, are there things that are triggering people to say this more instead of the need and the emotional need for more certainty, etc. That's more on the inner world. But what is happening in the outer world that makes us want to make more impact?
Well, one part I would say, I'm like being sorry, I'm gonna say this, but it's popular, so I need to be part of the popularity wave, and everybody's making an impact, right? I want to make an impact too. So I'm gonna talk about making an impact. That would be one thing that I see, especially on the social media, mainstream media part. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make an impact right now. I'm gonna look for a job with an impact. I have no clue about what that really is, but I'm gonna talk about it because it really feels popular. But then there's the other part where I believe is a greater driver. Regardless if we have admitted it or not, we can see that there's a lot of that is going on in the world right now that is wrong. That is not, it's not aligned with our values or beliefs. We see it in in the politics, we see it in the economy, in the unemployment, in work. We have seen it for a while. We've been pretty good at closing our eyes for that. But now we're waking up. So COVID has happened. We have accepted that right now, many of us. We got to do something about it. I believe many right now is sitting in that type of state of mind.
If I can say something right now, I mean, Pascal has been hosting the embodiment conferences. If you had taken that event 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not sure it would have been that popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now there is a lot of things changing in the world, not only politically, economically, whatsoever, but especially spiritually. And there is a lot of things that I think people want to be aware and wants to have that, or have that will to do something different, have that will to do that impact. And the successful of that embodiment conference, how many people, Pascal, have attended?
Well, attended, of course, I don't know the concrete numbers, but signed up were 400,000.
So 400,000 people, almost 500,000 people have signed up for this embodiment conference. I don't think so a few years ago would happen. So people want to make that impact. They simply don't know how. Okay, and if some people can show them the way, that they have to believe in themselves, and there are ways of making an impact that is not necessarily political, is not necessarily economical. There are different ways to make an impact, and I'm pretty sure here there's a lot of things to do, and I strongly believe that.
Absolutely, and when I can just add, because it fits to what I said earlier, and kudos to Mark Walsh, who organized this huge event, and his team, of course, Daniela and all the other people. He made it possible because he's able to, or that's one of his strengths, to create an environment where this is possible. And over thousands presenters, they all had a certain talent, specialty, expertise, where they add something to this movement, to doing these things. So everybody has a small impact, and in total, that's a huge thing, because people then see again, okay, I'm not alone, and so on and so on. So that's of course then something where we can learn from, and where you can see that people are willing not only to be a consumer of the connection that we have through the digital world, but also be a creator of this, to use it also as a creative force. And this is then when it comes, of course, Erik, you're right, a lot of people surf on the wave of the impact wave, I'm the revolutionary right now, I'm doing it, I know, and so on. And the step will be to make an evolution out of this. We can balance it out. I think that was a good one, Alexandre.
Did we sustain the challenge?
Katie.
Yeah, I'd say you got kind of bang up,
Katie.
I do. I have a question, because I think, Pascal, you kind of touched on your opinion on this, but so I'll pose this to Erik or Alexander. But do you think it matters, the motivation behind someone wanting to make an impact or going to make an impact, whether that be, selfishness? I'm sure we all have, like a biological need and reward system that pushes us to want to make an impact. But do you think it necessarily matters, if they're just doing it because they have a chip on their shoulder?
If I can say something here. If you do that genuinely, as Pascal said, not expecting something in return, you should take away your ego. You should take away the pride and the reward you want to have. If you're thinking only on the reward and what can I get out of that, you will not go far, honestly, and your impact will not be that strong. So I think you should take away the impact and focus on what you want to obtain, and automatically you will be rewarded. But if you think of the reward first, that will not come, because you will never be satisfied, and you will not put your focus on what matters, which is doing the impact. You will place the intention and the focus on what you want to get rewarded for. And that has been scientifically proven several times. It is. To give you a little story I've done in my class, there is the magic bamboo sticks. 36 people, they've got a bamboo stick on their fingers and they have to bring it down. And to 3 classes, I said, as soon as you finish, you can go home. And that's a 2 hours class. And they were focusing on going home. And they used the 2 hours of the class, they did not succeed. To the last class, I said to them, do it and do the best as you can. Half an hour it was done and they left. Because they were not focusing on the rewards. They were focusing on what needs to be done and believing that they can. And I think this is what you have to do, basically.
To add on this, Katie, you know, something that we learned over all these years is result is there's an equation. Result is intention and focus and energy that you invest. So, and if your intention is already not right, then your result will be not right. So you have to have the right intention, the good intention. Let's not right and wrong. That should not be judged, but it should be something to contribute. If it's a contributing intention, then it's okay. If in some way it contributes, then it's great. And it always can contribute. Then the focus is the focus on what you can do or what you can't do. It's the same thing. And then the energy that you invest, is it a pull or a push? Is it a force or a power? That's it's always these two things which you can ask, and then you can get to the right result in the end that you can define upfront, where you were talking about envisioning in the future, and that's actually it. And if it can be that simple, and I say it again, it's simple but not easy. It is that simple, but it is really hard work. We have to invest our hard work all the time. So that's my view. At least on it. And I am not the person that can judge if an intention is good or bad or right or wrong. That always that's out of my reach. So I cannot tell you if selfishness is maybe right or wrong. I have no idea. In the bigger game, could be that it's the right intention in that moment, in that situation.
And what about you?
Yeah, Erik.
I feel that it's about being both strategic and generous at the same time. That I really believe that we should feel very free to look at, for instance, in terms of business aspect, or me as a person growing up and so forth. In everything that I do, and in a way, I do have an ability to provide that impact on other people, on the environment, on nature, on the society as a whole. I can. Question is that I'm thinking about is, so what is that? What is that impact that I'm actually doing already today? And if I could be a little bit more strategic about this and being generous at the same time, so that I'm thinking, okay, I would like to grow up as a human being who can live a fulfilled life, if I say so. I can be feeling proud of myself. I can feel that I am healthy. And to do that, I would like to do X, Y, or Z. I do have a certain, then you look at, I do need, and I do want something in return, but that's, as you have said already, it's not really my main driver. It's not the main key. And that's why I would say, to kind of conclude, it's about being generous and strategic at the same time by looking very honestly at what you're already doing and what I'm already doing.
I want to challenge you here again.
Alexandre, just because I just had something where it connected in my head. I have to get it out.
Go.
That I think that's very important. I think the word impact is bullshit.
Yes, finally somebody said it.
Because impact is a pushing force, and that's coming from the ego, from the control part, from the illusion of control. We have to make an impact because that will move people and that will do something, and the impact it is. And we know from nature that no force is really working with pushing. It's a pulling force. That's where stuff aligns, and we know that from physics and from everything actually. So actually, my question would be not make an impact, make a contribution. That would be it. It's not. It doesn't sound so powerful, but on the long run, yeah, I don't know. That's just what came to my mind when you were talking. Maybe impact is a BS word. Sorry that I said bullshit, but I said it again.
Did you say bullshit?
Okay, go ahead, Alexander.
Something I would like to add on that. An impact is a change. And the change occurs anyhow. You just have to deal with the flow. And something, again, that man told me something, to investigate something, the Wu way. The Wu way is a science. It's not a science, it's the act of doing something without doing anything. And understanding that you are in the flow and you make things moving by themselves. And automatically things don't change.
Yeah.
It is the place in that movement that's going to bring the change at a certain point.
Okay. All right. Coming towards the end. I have another one for you, the finishing one, the surprise one of the night that you could not prepare for. And I had one prepared, but now I changed it based on what I heard. Katie, Dimitri, Andreas, I'm going to do this in a version that I would like to get real quick answer, just a yes, no, quick, just finish the sentence kind of thing in this case, okay? Can we do that?
Yep.
Yes? Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, cool. Here's the thing. The word is like-minded people. You want to meet like-minded people. You want to serve like-minded people. Oh my God, this is a networking event for like-minded people. All right, Katie, what do you think?
Oh, mate.
So
I'm exhausted
who wants to
already
go
just
first?
hearing it.
Katie, it's all yours. It's all yours.
This is
You go first, Katie. Come on.
I feel about like-minded people how Pascal feels about impact. It's like a bullshit like word and ideation, I think. So that's my answer.
But let me ask you this, because I mean, like-minded people, right? I mean, what does it really refer to? What are we really saying when we're saying that in your own words? So Katie, when I say like, hey, do you want to meet up with some like-minded people? I mean, okay, it's a bullshit word, seriously. I mean, what are we talking about? Can you make that a bit more clear, define that a little bit more? How do we meet like-minded people? You know, what would be a like-minded person?
Okay, so I think I'm just having so much opposition to this word because it implies that, you only want to surround yourself with people who think like you. And I think that it can be very dangerous. Like you can see how it's impacted us here in the United States, right? When you only put white males in positions of power, and not to get too political or anything like that. But I think it's that's the connotation for me, right? Is like, I just want to be around people who think like me. And maybe it just has a negative connotation for me personally. And for some people, it could just be like, oh, like we can have a conversation. We don't necessarily agree on everything, but like our line of logic is the same, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you're referring to the logical part there. Dimitri, what do you feel about that? What would be your answer?
My answer would be that I'm very happy to hear a lot of people talk about that, because I think we're passing to the next stage where it's just like our, first of all, people weren't looking the same were a very big issue in our society. And now we are growing from that to talking about like-minded people, saying the way our minds evolved. we are looking for more connection on that level. And I think the next word will be like spirited people, which will mean that we are more consciously connecting also on a spiritual level. So besides the yes use of the word, I'm very happy that we are apparently going to a next stage of evolution of consciousness, where it's not like thinking the same, but more like we are in the same stages of evolution when we talk about like-mindedness.
Ah, okay. So you mean that we're coming together, we're connecting as humans that we're doing right now. That's what you're referring to.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Andreas.
For me, the word like-minded, very interesting. If we're going to take your first example, Erik, of, hey, do you want to make a group of people that are like-minded? I'm probably going to end up saying no. Because if you mean it's like-minded people and it's to the directive of the word, I'm just going to be like, I don't want to meet 20 versions of me. I know what I am. I want to meet different people, you know? That's not what I'm in there for. But I mean, if you look at what Dimitri said, you know, that we're all like-minded coming towards a common goal, and what Katie said of that, everyone doesn't like a certain person in power, that kind of like-minded. I'm good for like a section of the motivation, or I don't know the word I'm looking for, a section of the thought process of we'll have a common goal. But if it's a whole group of people that are 90% the same, I'm just going to be like, no, thank you. Please don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for it.
If you think about it really, and I like what Katie said, and if you think further about it, all the buzzwords that we know are bullshit. The simple reason is that the person who created or said that the first time, he had a context, he had an idea, he had a belief, he had a concrete thing in his mind why he said that. And someone says, oh yes, I like that sentence or that quote or that buzzword, and he's going to use that everywhere. A few years ago, it was a YOLO thing, so we live only once, right?
Yeah.
And all those buzz, if they are out of their context, they are deformed. I mean, they are transformed, they are amplified or changed. The meaning behind the first time that sentence has been said is totally different than when the buzzword hits the social media or everybody. So you should not believe in those buzzwords. Actually.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Finishing off then with I start the sentence, you finish the sentence. Complete new thing.
Can I just add something? Because I think what you said today, or where you asked the questions in the buzzword, they are most likely said in one sentence or in two sentences. Come on, guys, we have to go to the next level. We have to make an impact. We have to surround ourselves by like-minded people, right? So actually, that's in one sentence.
Yeah.
And when I now think of when I heard also what the people were saying, what then pops up in my head is that's so, again, even that sentence is bullshit, because if you surround yourself, what Andreas said, good. If you surround yourself with like-minded people, they're all like you. That's mimicry, and then nothing will change because you become like the people that you surround yourself with, and then you stay always at the same level, like Katie said, in politics and everything. Nothing will change. They talk about change, but nothing changes because everybody is the same. So they talk about the stuff, but they are. So please don't do it. Challenge. You need challenges all the time. That's the growth mindset. Challenge yourself with other people that say no to you or that challenge you, like we did today. That's. I think that's important. Just that was just a thought. Sorry to interrupt you.
You mean like-minded people that say no and that challenge you?
Well.
Okay. Oh God, I got an idea here, but I'm not gonna do with that. Okay, I will go with this. I will start a sentence, and please finish it as brief as you possibly can. Starting with Andreas.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go.
Right. So, I'm feeling best as a human when
I'm outside of my comfort zone, and I know I'm doing the best I can.
Dimitri. I'm feeling the worst as a human when
I've hurt somebody else.
Ooh, that's a
Katie.
good one.
I'm frustrated, annoyed, and angry as a human being when
I am out of alignment with myself.
Okay. All right. Pascal, I'm feeling the most stressed when
Whew.
Here.
When you can't answer the statement.
When I'm feeling mostly stressed when it is not aligned with my purpose. When things are not aligned with my purpose.
Okay. Alexander, I have the most fun as a teacher when
there is a rotation of energy, when there is an exchange of energy with the student.
Okay.
Why did he get an easy one? Wait a minute. Why did he get an easy one?
wait.
No.
I can bet it for you. Okay. Going, Katie, Dimitri, Andreas. Okay. My best tip to become a better version of myself is?
Ooh, be still. Sit with yourself.
Okay, being still, sitting with myself. Dimitri, my best tip to recover from a dip in my life is?
Appreciate everything about yourself.
All right. Andreas, my best tip to better reflect on life is?
The sound.
You're on mute.
Sorry, yep. Never forget an experience and remember it and learn from it.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Last round. Now I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit on the challenge here. And I will encourage all of you to be brutally honest right now. Okay. Andreas, starting with you, of course.
I'm Australian, so come on.
I think leaders should do more of
not being a boss and being a team player.
Dimitri, I think leaders should do more of
hugging.
Okay. Katie, I think leaders should do more of
introspection.
All right. Pascal, I think leaders should do less of
teaching, being more a role model.
Alexander, I think leaders should stop doing
thinking they are the best.
Okay. Katie, in my own growth as a human being, I know I should
not beat myself up.
Yeah.
Dimitri, same question. In my own growth, I know I should
be completely honest.
Okay. The same thing to Andreas. In my own growth, I know I should.
Yeah, you've got me now. My own growth, I know I should. Take every moment you have, never forget it, and move on.
Okay. Wonderful. Then, coming to the end here, thank you everybody to be here. And I would just like to know this. As a human being, as a leader within your own life, your community, in your own families, your own cities, if you could describe yourself as an item, what item would that be? Starting with Alexandre, going to Pascal, going down to Katie, Dimitri, Andreas. If you describe yourself as an item in your own leadership, in your own communities, in your own families, what is that item?
A melting pot.
A melting what?
A melting pot.
Okay, all right, Pascal.
I can elaborate.
Did you hear it?
The melting pot is when you put everything that concern everybody into it.
There, the chef comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once a chef, always a chef.
Yeah. Pascal, what do you say?
A lighthouse.
That's a big item. Okay, cool. Katie?
I'm a small guy. I need a big item.
I was, man, I wish I had a knowledge of tools. I'm just going to say a Swiss Army knife.
Holy 𝗲𝗏𝗧. All right. Okay, Dimitri?
A white paper.
Oh. Andreas?
A rubber ducky. No, there's a theory. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. There's a theory behind this. Okay. So, quick story. I studied to be a programmer 2 years, not the point. Anywho, when you do programming, you get stuck with millions and millions of problems. Think of like math, but on steroids, right? Anywho, when people get stuck with problems, they worked out, like programmers worked out, you could have a rubber ducky and you put it on your desk and you explain the problem to the duck. And you worked out that your brain would actually work out the issue and you didn't have to bother someone. It saved time, it saved money. It was a brilliant thing. So rubber ducky, I'm someone that people can vent to. It's great. And I don't have to, it works. It helps everyone.
Okay. Wonderful. Rubber ducky. Okay. Well, then we're coming to the hour here. Thank you very much for being with us. This is streamed a little bit everywhere right now. I will be cutting this down into small bits and pieces. You can reuse them later if you want to. And next week we are having 𝗙𝗏𝗍𝗍, Kelly Merber, and one more surprise guest. And we have already set the one buzzword, which will be stepping outside the comfort zone. So we're talking about the comfort zone. The next time, that is one of the buzzwords. We're having two more in the pipeline. Unfortunately, Alexandre will not be able to be with us that time, but everybody else will be here. And if I could leave you to leave today with just leaving with a very straight and honest statement you would like to leave everybody who's been watching this with, and something that we can use for the recording later, what would you like to say to the world from your own heart right now in the rawest form? Andreas.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Okay.
Be grateful.
Okay. Katie?
You're doing all right.
Pascal?
Get rid of the word should.
Alexandre?
Pick up more daisies. And you?
And I would simply say, enjoy more. That was what I would say. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
We forgot
Thank
Dimitri.
you so much. And I don't really know. Pascal, Alexandre, do you want to say something else? Or shall we?
Dimitri, what is your word?
Be grateful.
Oh,
Be
grateful.
grateful.
Okay. I didn't hear it. Sorry.
All right. Everybody, wait. We all have stories now, so I just need to do this. Okay, are you ready, everyone?
LinkedIn stories.
Okay, bye, guys. Thank you for today.
Bye.
One final word. Thank you. Connecting Humans Live is live, and we're saying goodbye from the living room with my iron board. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.